So I just finished prepping a whole truckload of vegetables, and so I thought I'd show you the different ways that I like to prep my veggies in advance. I've done meal prep tutorials before, and I'll link to those in the video, but this one is really just focused on veggies. It's a great starting prep if you're a beginner, and also a great starting point if you're just new on your healthy eating journey, because if there's one thing we could all agree on, it's that we want to get more vegetables in the diet, and prepping them in advance is a really good way to make sure that that happens. So before I get into the different foods that I've prepped, my first tip for you is to do this type of prep as soon as you come home from the grocery store. Meaning, when your bags are full, you wanna make sure that you prep your vegetables before you pack them into the refrigerator. It is going to save you so much time and energy throughout the week. All right, so let's jump right in. So blanching is something that a lot of restaurants do before service. It's a way of pre-cooking the vegetables in a way so that they can make them to order really quickly. And so first I get a big pot of water, either boiling or steaming. And in the meantime, I wash, I trim, and I chop all of my vegetables. I prepare all of the storage containers that I'm gonna be using. And so once the water is boiling, I'm ready to start working in batches. Then you just plunge your vegetables into the water or steamer for a few minutes until they're bright in color and still crunchy, and then just shock them in ice water, drain them, and pack them. So a few tips here. If you're wondering about steaming versus boiling, now in normal cases, steaming is definitely the most nutritious choice. So if you can do that when you're prepping, go for it, work in batches and steam. But this week I prepared Swiss chard and I prepared some steamed green beans. But I did boil my Swiss chard because Swiss chard is very high in oxalates and could be quite bitter, and boiling some of those acids out into the water is gonna leave your Swiss chard with a much sweeter taste. And of course, if you're working in batches and you like to reuse your cooking water, make sure to use the messiest vegetables at the end. So for example, if you're gonna be using broccoli, make sure to use that one last. Otherwise, you're gonna have broccoli dust all over your vegetables. And then what I do with them during the week is I'll usually, tear these green beans up into lunches or toss them into a salad. This Swiss chard, very, very simply during the weeknight, I'll just take it from the fridge, I'll saute some garlic, some chili flakes, and some olive oil, and I'll toss this in, and I have a delicious side dish ready in minutes. So the next way I like to prep vegetables every single week without fail is raw. So this week I've got some fennel. I really like fennel. If you haven't tried this, it's delicious. Raw fennel and some carrot chopped up, ready to go in the fridge. Clear glass storage container at eye level, so it's the first thing you see when you open up the fridge. Great to snack on while you're cooking if you're hungry before making dinner. Typically though, you will have to refill this about twice a week, so this will be done. If I prep this on a Sunday, it'll be done by Wednesday. And if you want to take your prep to another level, what you can do is you can actually make individual jars like this. So these are small jars, a little bit of hummus or any type of dip that you like at the bottom, and you could top that off and just kind of make a couple of jars like this and just grab them on the go. Mise en place is French for putting things into place, and it's a type of prep that I'll do every week. Basically involves either chopping or prepping any ingredients that I plan on using in meals later on throughout the week. So it's just a little bit of work in advance. So if you want to chop onions or carrots or celery in advance for a recipe you're going to be doing later on, then that's something that you want to do. All right, so let me show you some of the things that I prepared this week. So this is a mix for omelets. Now I've got some scallion and some chopped mushroom because we're a bit on an omelet kick lately, and my husband wakes up really early in the morning, and so it's fun to switch up the eggs from time to time, and so you can do any types of vegetables that you like. And so that's what we're doing this week, and I'll probably have to refill this about midweek or so. Another thing that I like to do is here, I've got some spinach. Now, typically we'll buy big bags or packs of baby spinach, but if they get wilted midweek or towards the end of the week, and you like to use them for smoothies, what I've started doing is actually freezing the spinach, smashing it into little pieces, and then you wind up with this wonderful little spinach powder that you can add directly from the freezer into your smoothie. So it's a really convenient way to prep your greens if you're into green smoothies in the morning. Finally, something that I'll always have on hand is some washed lettuce. Now this week I've got some romaine. The way I like to prepare it is definitely washing this in advance. You wanna make sure when you're washing lettuce in advance that you take really good care in making sure that it is extremely dry before storing it. Otherwise, it will not last you. But if you get this right, my romaine will last me 5, 6, sometimes 7 days. It's amazing. Now I know there are these fancy, storage containers that you can just toss things in. This is how my mom did it, this is how my grandmother did it, and this is how I do it, and it works. So all I do is I wash and I pat dry my lettuce, and I put it on a kitchen towel, but I double it up so I make sure that every single leaf of lettuce is touching a piece of the cloth. And then I roll it up and I pack it into a zip top bag. I remove all the air, I tighten it, I close the lid, and I pack it in the fridge, and it lasts a long time. And then when I want a salad, I just pop it open, unroll it, grab a few leaves, and I'm ready to toss that into a salad. So normally for a simple meal prep, I'll stop here. I've got some pre-cooked veggies, I've got some mise en place, I've got some raw veggies for snacking. I'm all set. But because I wanted to show you, for those of you who want to do a little bit more, you can definitely add cooked or more elaborate recipes to your prep. So I've got some roasted cauliflower soup. Now this is the soup that's on the blog. It's got cauliflower and onion and garlic and thyme and parmesan, and it's really delicious and super simple to make. And I've also got some roasted zucchini because I love having either some grilled or some roasted vegetables on hand to throw into my lunches or into salads. So if it's warm enough where you are right now, you can grill it, but it's already fall here, and so I pop these under the broiler with a little bit of olive oil and some salt, and I've got these ready to go. So there you have it. That was my vegetable prep for the week. I hope it inspired you and gave you some ideas of how you can prep your own vegetables and help yourself eat more veggies throughout the week. If you go over on the blog at motivenutrition.com, you'll also find a download for a cheat sheet for a veggie meal prep where I've included the times, the blanching and steaming times for different vegetables. So you could just print that out, pop it onto your fridge, or keep it in your kitchen so you can use in your next session. I learned about veggie prep way before I learned anything about nutrition, because this is something that I learned and I saw my family doing growing up. And I'm so grateful for that. You'd think that it's because I'm a dietitian and because I learned this, but I think it's mostly because it's what I lived and what I experienced growing up. And so I strongly encourage, if you have a family, if you have children at home, or even if it's just for yourself, do take the time to do this because it has a huge, huge impact. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care.